Hi, I'm Becca Otis from Five Lines Pottery in Indianapolis, Indiana.
And I'm Ryan Durbin from RD Ceramics, located in Southgate, Kentucky.
And welcome to Wheel Talk.
Hey guys, we've loved answering all of your questions so far. If you'd like to hear your question on the podcast, please send them to us on Instagram at wheeltalkpodcast or by email to wheeltalkpodcast@gmail.com. Thanks. Started.
Hi, Ryan. Started. Hi, Ryan.
Hi, Becca. Are you tired today?
Hi, Becca.
Hi, buddy. Hope you find your dad. That's bye, buddy.
Oh, no, I'm not tired today. I don't think. We put out our survey for Wheel Talk, and like 7 responses were like, Becca seems really tired. She's yawning a lot. And I'd just like to clarify that I literally only yawned in like 3 episodes, and that's because I was exhausted because Ryan keeps me up really late thinking about life.
That's bullshit.
And
that is bullshit. You do not go to bed sooner than when we talk. Like,
no, that's 100% true.
What's true? That I'm saying you're full of shit, or that you actually do go to bed sooner?
No, that I'm full. That you're. Yeah. That. But it was like my first couple weeks of work, and I wasn't used to the schedule, and I also we'd normally do podcasts, and it would be 7 p.m. my time and 9 p.m. Ryan's time, and it changed to both of us being at 9:30.
That's not how math works.
I wasn't used to it.
It was 10 p.m. my time.
So that's my excuse.
And 7 p.m.
That's my excuse for yawning.
But yes. I will say, you have yawned since you've been here You've been in Indiana. In the last month, you've done it. Some of our listeners can dig up that tape and tell us. But
I've only been in Indiana for a month and a half.
Month and a half? It's March. 2 months.
It's March 1st, you fucker.
Okay, but it's 2 months.
I came on January 12th.
That's true. I was thinking January 1st. Okay, whatever. Before we recorded, you were talking time zone stuff, and I'm like, you can't say time zone. It's been almost 2 months. You can't blame it on time zone anymore.
I can say time zone, and I will. But also, I wanted to say that we should have a drinking game, an official Wheel Talk podcast drinking game. And if it's the morning, you can drink your coffee. But like, if not, if you want to drink some like whiskey or some beer or whatever, I think we need to have a drinking game that's a Wheel Talk drinking game that every time you take a sip of water and we can hear it, you drink. And then every time I yawn, they drink.
Oh.
I think that would be fun.
You're trying not to make a sound because you just drank something. Drinking out of that nice Pines Inn pottery mug.
I am. Oh. It's my favorite mug. I think it's because it's rainbow, but also because it's handmade, hand-built.
Hand-built.
I love it.
Yeah, so thanks everybody for answering that survey. It's probably still going to be out there, so it's on our Wheel Talk Instagram account. It's the only link that we have on there, so you can go there and fill it out. We've got 41 responses as of the 2nd of March when we're recording this, but if you want to give us any feedback, we'd love to have it.
Can we read some anonymous responses that are my favorite?
Yeah, definitely. What was the question that they were answering that you want to read?
Oh, the question was, just for fun, if you could have us say anything anonymously on the podcast, what would it be? Thank God there was nothing racist in here, which was great.
I mean, it doesn't mean that we have to say it. It's just a suggestion. Of course. Some of these are pretty good. Pretty funny.
Pretty funny. Okay, here. One of my favorites is eat and drink more dairy products.
On the podcast.
Also,
They want to hear us drinking milk on the podcast.
Yeah. Another one that is like my favorite because it's like a direct jab but also a direct win for me is I rarely agree with Becca over Ryan, but Becca is right in all caps about free shipping.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, that was one of my favorites.
But I still get the most of that answer because it was a jab. Like, I'm in her. I'm assuming it's a her, but she's on my team except for that, so we're good.
Or they. We don't know if it's
a
female or male. They. Okay, what was it? Somebody. Oh, here's one. Oh, well, it has something about Ryan. Okay, it says, Ryan, you always mention that you are hoping to be able to leave your day job to become a full-time potter. Are you ever worried about that someone from the company you work for will hear the podcast?
No, one of my coworkers actually listens to it. I don't know if she still listens to it, but she listened at the beginning. But issue. I mean, the thing is, I talk with my manager. Like, my manager knows that I sell pottery on the side and that I'm wanting to do it full time someday. I'm very transparent about that. So he knows that that's the end goal, and he's like, you know, we actually talked at the end of the year about like wrapping up the kind of like yearly reviews and stuff, and he was kind of like, yeah, how did the business go this year and stuff like that. And I was like, yeah, it's doing better. I grew a lot even with COVID and stuff, and you know, I was kind of like, yeah, I'm kind of getting that way where I need to narrow that gap between the full-time salary and what I'm making with ceramics. And then he was like, yeah, I would love to see if you could like come up with a like business plan or some idea of how you would get ceramics to be a 6-figure income. Like, if you could do something like that, that would be cool to see. So like, you know, he's my manager, but he's supportive of me like with this goal, because he does like crafts and woodworking on the side that he would love to do if he has the time and the energy to like devote to that. He's like, you're living like what I would love to do.
Right. I think that's really cool to have somebody that's so supportive. And also, not to mention that you like exist within the tech world, which is ever evolving and ever changing. So the turnover of people in the tech world is so, like, I feel like it's rare for you to be in the same company for 5, 6, 7 years anyway. And the fact that you've been there for such a long time is kind of,
it's kind of an anomaly.
Pretty, because it's like, I have other friends in the tech world and they're like, they change jobs every 2 years and like they're constantly moving. So I think that that's pretty cool. Here's one. Val, I love you. Everyone should go follow Val Flynn Pottery.
Shameless plug. I wonder who wrote that one.
I don't know. Yeah. And the last half to that question about Ryan's work was, Becca, do you see yourself ever getting on a dating app?
Well, do you?
I mean, I've been on dating apps before, but I feel like I'm at this point in my life where I'm like not even concerned about getting ghosted. I'm like, God, if they ghost me, it's honestly better off, because like then I don't have to talk to them.
Oh my gosh. Dating in 2021 must be quite the task.
I I know. It's like I'm 30, and I also like. I'm like, if you're just gonna say hello to me and then expect me to carry on the conversation, fuck you. Like, I'm not gonna like. What do you like? What do you want me to do? And I also feel like the like. I don't know. I also feel like the demographic of. Also, like, if you didn't know, I am straight, so I'm not gay. So I'm sometimes it's confused, but especially with me holding my rainbow mug. But like, I feel like men are just waiting for somebody to come in. I could be wrong, but it just kind of feels like they're waiting for you to like be so into them, and then when I'm like, no, you. Also, this is dating at like 30 or whatever. I'm like, no, I asked the last question. It's fucking your turn. Like,
there's a back and forth here. There's some.
Yeah, and if they don't answer, I'm like, bye. I don't care. Like, I've lost nothing. But I also apparently haven't met anybody that's that spectacular. Anyway, going on with that. No, I don't expect to be dating or marrying anybody anytime soon, and I'm A-okay with that. Okay. We're gonna do one more because I think it's a this can be our question for today, and then we'll go into how the day was.
There were some questions in here?
Yeah. Well, we just already had a few questions. Okay. You are both definitely cat people, but if you had to get a dog tomorrow, what type of dog would you get and why? Breed and age.
People actually choose a dog based on the age?
I don't know.
I mean, like puppy, not puppy. I feel like that's an age, but
I guess.
I don't know.
Like a rescue or a puppy.
A breed and age. Do you have a dog have you had dogs or anything? Like, I don't.
No, I mean, my sister has a Cocker Spaniel.
When we were we were actually considering like dogs early. Like when we first got married or whatever, we were kind of like figuring out what would work. My thing was, which is actually funny to think about it now, I don't like all the hair everywhere, which is funny because cats have hair everywhere anyways. But I was thinking of like some smaller dog that doesn't shed, like a Havanese or something like that.
I don't even know what a Havanese is.
It's like a little white dog. Or like a I can't remember. It would be a smaller dog that preferably would not shed a lot.
I always didn't like smaller dogs, and then like Val has a little Chihuahua, and he hated me for the first 2 years of our experience together, but then he became like my best friend, and I really like him. But I actually do love dogs. I don't like them for the fact that they're completely dependent, and that's why I like cats.
Yep.
Because like the whole taking them outside and stuff like that, like I don't want. That's why I don't like babies. So we're not crossing that line. You don't take babies outside, but you have to change their diapers and shit like that. So I would probably, it would be a toss-up between a rescue greyhound. I really like greyhounds, mostly because of I like the idea of rescuing them. Or just, I'm cool with, a general mutt, but if I was, gonna get a puppy, I'd want to get a Vizsla. I don't know how to pronounce it. Vizsla.
I'm on dog breeds.
Vizsla. The red ones.
I see it.
They're so pretty, and they seem like they're such, personable dogs and, super loyal. So that's the one that, if I was a different person, that's what I would get.
Otherwise, some kind of, I don't know, terrier's the right word? Some kind of terrier, maybe?
A terrier.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do love, oh my god, like Australian Shepherds are really great dogs too. I love all dogs. Like, I think that they're great. And I like mutts too. I think that, ones that you can't figure out what they were. My cousin has this dog. They call him an Australian fluffy back. Nobody really knows what he is. But
yeah, Rachel's cousins, actually, they have a lot of Australian Shepherds, and she does a lot of, like, dog shows and, like, trains and stuff for the agility and all that kind of thing.
Yeah. Cattle dogs are really cool, too. I love cattle dogs. They're really, really loyal, too. Yeah. So, yeah, I know we are not dog people, but, and also, like, it would not be fair to a dog for me to be their human.
Yeah, the whole indoor-outdoor thing and that kind of thing. Not a huge fan. I'm not a huge fan of slobber, too, but...
It's probably not even fair for me to have a cat, honestly. But here we are. Briefly, in 2 minutes, tell me how your day was.
Good. Unloaded a kiln. Got a really good load of stuff out of there. And that's pretty much it. And I'm talking to you.
Nice.
It's a pretty good day.
Nice. Nice. For me, it was, I trimmed a bunch of pots. Also, I wanted to add in, if you feel like you are not great at throwing or you're lacking in certain areas, you should trim a lot. Trim a lot of pots because it'll show you where to fix things. Trimmed a bunch of pots and came home and made dinner. I've been really into Indian food recently, and then I'm talking to you, and that's it.
Yeah.
Oh, and I started listening to a new podcast.
Yeah, you told me. What's it called?
It's called You're Wrong About. That's it. You're Wrong About. And it's two journalists, and they go over topics, and there's a Princess Diana series that is very fascinating.
Are they like one-off episodes for longer, or are they like serialized where there's multiples pieced together about one topic?
They're like hour-long episodes, and like the Princess Diana wasn't like in a row, but they were fairly close together. And then there was like a Bill Clinton episode where they talk about everything that happened with Bill Clinton, and like they just debunk a lot of stuff, like just a ton of things, and it's so fascinating, and they are very intelligent and really cool.
Cool.
So,
I might need to look that up.
You're wrong about, and so I'm finally into a podcast season of my life, which I'm happy about now.
There's some of those podcasts that'll just like pull you in because of, like you said, the voice of the one person. Or I've been listening to American Scandal recently. I don't know if you ever listened to that, but it's like the host has got this voice that just like draws you in. But it's like,
oh yeah, that's nice.
So enticing in the way they like frame it and the way they do the music and like read the ads. It doesn't make you think like, oh, I need to skip that shit. It's like, just like the quality is great.
Yeah, Val was the one that introduced me to this podcast, and she was saying that like the female in this particular podcast, her name's Sarah, and she's like, she says things that are just so off the wall. She's like, you're gonna love her because like she like says things that are just completely haywire, and you're like, what? Where did that come from? But it's like so endearing, and she's like also really introspective, which is cool. So
nice.
Yes. Okay. What are we talking about today?
We're talking about social media, part 3.
Oh, I should probably get the notes.
Part 3. I bet this is going to get to like 8 parts by the end of when we just keep getting questions. We're just going to keep doing social media episodes. I don't know.
No, we can't. I can't handle more than 3 social media episodes. I'm sorry.
I feel like we've been social media like so much in the last couple months. But yeah. All right. So we still got some questions remaining.
Ooh, I like that first one. Should we just hop into it?
Yeah, I just sneezed, so you're welcome for not hearing
Oh,
that.
he muted himself.
Ooh,
Look at that
ooh.
self-control. Ooh. Oh, also, fun fact, I know all the Potters will love this. Trader Joe's has this hand cream that is killer. So good. It's in a box, so it's easily skippable, but it's near all of the lotions, and it is bomb. And it smells
Is
great.
there a
Okay,
brand or something we can go off of that rather than just walking in a Trader
It's
Joe's?
Trader
Oh,
Joe's.
it's Trader Joe's brand.
Yeah, it's Trader Joe's. It's like Trader Joe's, like, super ultra moisturizing hand cream.
Okay.
And it's in, like, a little tiny box because it's a tube.
Okay.
So, Deidre, now you know.
Nice.
Since we had a long conversation. Okay. What differences do you notice between IG and Facebook, Instagram and Facebook? I notice most of my circle interacts a lot more on Facebook, older crowd, in parentheses, and IG seems to be with a younger group.
I don't have a ton of engagement and, like, I don't put a ton of effort into Facebook, so you could probably talk more about that, but I use Facebook as just a cross-posting platform. Instagram's my first and foremost.
Yeah.
All of my good engagement, all of my good direct messaging and stories and all of that kind of creativity goes into Instagram. And then Facebook just gets all the photos and all the stories and stuff. But I'm not doing a lot of engagement in Facebook to start. What is there anything you could say about Facebook and how, you know, the difference in Facebook from your perspective?
Yeah, I think that in my perspective, the difference between Instagram and Facebook is local community versus online community, and like a much wider range of communities. So like on Facebook, most of the people that followed me and supported me were in my local community. And on Instagram, most of the people that follow me and support me are from every state. You know, it's like all the different states. I think that Facebook is a great platform for building a local community, especially if you have some sort of a brick and mortar or even a house, you know, that you're doing like you can create events, you know, like
Yeah.
you're doing your sale, like a house sale or studio sale. And also it kind of like makes you be in touch with, I mean, really a lot of people are part of groups that are like in Monroe, we had You Had Me at Monroe, and like Downtown Monroe Association and all those things, and being part of those and sharing your business with people locally is a really great and easy and free way to get out and to let people know that there's a Potter in their community that they may not know about.
Yeah, I think Facebook makes it easier to share. I definitely use the events part. So if I have an event that is created by the organizer, like I will definitely add that to my page, and it gives. It's kind of like a pseudo website in that aspect because it'll bubble up the events when they come up. It'll remind people when they've like engaged with it. You know, this event's coming up this weekend and stuff like that. So it does a pretty good job of doing that. And then just I don't know, the format of Facebook. It's more text based, I guess, and then the photos kind of come alongside it. So, you know, my business page, you know, when you look at a post, it's going to be the text first and then the picture below it. So in Instagram, it's more the alternate. It's more picture focused, and then the text and the captions and everything kind of come secondary. But I get a lot more back and forth with people on Instagram through like messages and engagement wise.
I also think it's a lot easier to share somebody's, like, share and have it stick. Like, share somebody's post and have it stick in Facebook. Like, you know, whenever I was doing flash sales or some sort of sale like that, I was like, share this post. And it shares it and it, like, stays on their page. You know, it's like, it's stuck there. Whereas Instagram, you're sharing them through messages and you're sharing it through stories. And it's temporary.
Yeah, it's not public facing unless they post it on their own feed, which nobody's going to do unless it's a giveaway or something.
Which nobody's going to do. Yeah, I feel like Facebook is definitely more about sharing, and Instagram is more about like, this is who I am. You know?
Yeah. Or it's more like business to directly to consumer, like
Yeah, business to
communication.
consumer. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. All right. So the next one
yeah.
is there anything about direct selling on Instagram or Facebook versus sending to Etsy or your website? Have you done a lot of selling directly on Instagram or Facebook yourself?
I tried, but I know that Rebecca's done direct selling on Instagram where it just like clicks and you can buy it like straight off Instagram.
Yeah.
And she had like a second sale that just went fucking bananas
That's
because of
with
that.
a Shopify integration. Is that how that works?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, I know Shopify was pretty well linked with Instagram when they started doing that. I
yeah.
the only selling I do directly through either of those is through messages. Usually, if somebody will comment on a post and they'll say I'm interested in buying that, or they'll just directly message me from a story. Maybe I unloaded the kiln and people will comment about, oh, I really love that one. Is that for sale? And I'll kind of do the transaction that way. And I've done it that way. I think
Or
it.
the swipe up.
I don't really do the
Like,
swipe up. You mean like something's available and I directly like have it in my shop? I mean, I'll do
yeah,
that when I do a restock, but I don't.
yeah,
But I kind of perceive that as like selling individual items directly through Instagram. But yeah,
yeah,
that I mean that obviously takes a lot of more legwork on your end because you have to handle, what's it going to cost to ship it. So you got to like figure that out. You either like create an Etsy listing real quick with that item and the photo of it, and then give them a link to it and they go and they buy it. So like that's one way you can do it. But a lot of times I will just, show them the item or whatever, tell them the price, ask for their shipping address, and then they'll send it to me and I'll quickly go into USPS, or I'll just kind of estimate it based on what I think and say total shipping with shipping is $45. Payment can be made through Venmo or PayPal.
What?
And then that's
Okay,
kind of how I
here's a
handle that
question.
if they're asking for
Yeah,
a direct
here's a
sale.
question. You as a consumer, like you as the shopper, if you saw something on Instagram for sale, would you click it and like uh let's say there's a skateboard,
Mm-hmm.
like a skateboarder that had skateboards for sale and you were like, I'm going to buy a skateboard. Would you be more inclined to click over on Instagram and shop on their Instagram, or like click to their website?
I mean, I'd probably go right from Instagram to see like the first thing I would want to know is like what's the price of it and stuff like that. If you can know
Yeah.
that
So if it
immediately in
had it on
Instagram,
Instagram,
like that's how I shop as a consumer. I'll go in and I'll kind of want to see the price, and then I'll
yeah.
balance out like how much is it going to take to ship it. So how much am I going to pay out of pocket to get this thing to my house?
Yeah.
Um,
See, and me, I'm more of if I see something on Instagram for sale, I will almost always go to their profile and click their website and go to their website.
because you know that Instagram's
So,
going to take a cut of it,
I'm
or
more
somebody
of a,
else is taking a cut of it.
probably. I like to go to the source.
Yeah, that's a good tactic to take. I think if they're seeing something handmade and they like message me about it, I think that shows the like limited supply kind of thing, that they actually saw something and they wrote to buy that exact item, and it shows like that personal one-on-one connection with them as a consumer, and they're
But
more
this
likely to.
isn't. I don't think that's what this is talking about, though. I think this is literally talking about how like you can sell on Facebook, like how your wife is selling stuff on Facebook, like directly on Facebook
Yeah.
and directly on Instagram versus like going to an Etsy or going to a website.
Yeah, I would.
Like obviously you're gonna sell stuff during like messages and stuff.
Well, I mean, not everybody
That's
does
preferred.
that, but you could. Yeah, if you do the direct selling on Instagram or Facebook, I believe at least the one that I know is the Shopify integration. So you have to have a Shopify site or some kind of store,
Yeah.
Shopify or other platform. You could probably look up.
I think that Square does it. I'm not sure, but I think they might. Weebly.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it lessens the friction, right? They can tap the thing and they can go right to it versus going to your profile and then going to the website and then going and finding your shop and then going and finding that product. It's like 6 steps to get to that thing, whether versus they just tap it. I don't know what it looks like on Facebook though. Is Facebook similar?
Yeah, I think so. They you can do a store on Facebook. Like I have a store on Facebook.
Oh, really?
With, links to it. Yeah.
Oh.
They can just buy it directly through there.
It's not like Facebook Marketplace listings, right? It's like it's its own.
It's like its own store. Like it's linked onto your business page.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
Yeah.
I never tried that.
Yeah. Okay. Next question. What's the typical time to build a following parentheses, assuming regular posts? I think that also we can put in parentheses, assuming your product is of a quality product.
Yeah. And there's also a range of both of those things. Like regular posting, is that daily? Is that 3 times a week? Like what's regular for some people?
It. Like what is
for me? Regular is 5 days a week. That's where I'm at now.
Okay.
I post about 5 days a week.
And with a fairly consistent photo library, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, I have a big stockpile of images and videos and content to pull from because I'm very conscious that, I'm going to be posting to Instagram 5 days a week for the next number of years. Yeah. And I have been for the last 4 years. So I have to have a lot of content to pull from. And the more photos
I know, but
take,
they're all pretty consistent, the way that they're taken and the way that the color themes.
Yeah, so just increase brightness by 10 maybe through Instagram. I don't do any filters, I don't use any outside apps or anything like that. And then definitely mixing up what you're doing. Not saying that somebody that only posts photos can't be successful and grow a following. But if you utilize some of the different ways that you can create content, whether it's videos that are tutorials or that are long form real time where I'm demoing something, which might be for an IGTV video, that's a good option. Or you can do a video that's a time lapse where you're doing a longer thing that's cut down and sped up. Or it could be just a really short video of a very specific part of the process that is engaging, that's really interesting to watch or whatever. And then there's also really good quality finished photos of work that comes out of the kiln or in process stuff. So, I mean, I kind of balance it all out and then using different things if you're interested in learning how reels work or Instagram stories. Obviously, I dip my toes in a lot of those different areas so that I can keep it interesting and show kind of a well-rounded look at my business and me.
Okay, so assuming that you have everything in the right place and you're posting 5 days a week and you're posting good quality photos, how long do you think it would be to take to build a following of, let's say
let's build a following, right? I mean, is it 500 from zero? Is it 1,000 from zero?
Let's say from 0 to 5,000. What do you think?
I mean, I probably took 3 years to get that.
Yeah, so did I.
Are you at 5,000?
But some people take 10 days.
Are you at 5,000 now? You're at 6,000 or something, right?
I think I'm... Yeah, but I stayed stationary for 4 years.
Yeah. So it's one of those where you have to be pretty disciplined. And
I don't think that we can predict how long it would take to make a following, because there are some people that have had Instagrams for 10 years and they have 1,000 followers, and there are some people that have Instagrams for 10 days and they have 6,000 followers because one of their videos popped off.
Yeah, a lot of those are kind of hard to explain intangibles. I can't tell you how to have an eye for photography or how to have a certain the art of the way that you would look at something to determine what's worth putting in a feed versus not, and what's going to show up and what's going to grab people's attention when they're scrolling through, when there's so much content that people see on a daily basis. What sets you apart and what explains, your story the best? Some people feel like they have to have it very curated and very pretty and like perfect. Other people, like, I don't really care about that. I would prefer to like be less effort on me. Like, I'm not putting in photo apps, I'm not setting up scenes or anything to like photograph like lifestyle photos or anything like that. And like, I'll throw in there and be like, hey, I haven't posted my face in a while, like, let's take a photo with my face and doing something that's of interest, and trying to just mix it up, not feeling like I'm so like locked in and have to, like, every single post has to be perfect or anything like that. But yeah, like you said, it could take weeks, it could take years, or you could never get to 5,000.
My computer sounds like a rainforest right now because it's working so hard to figure itself out. Cool. Yeah, I agree. I think that it took me from 2014 to maybe 2018 to get to like 4,000 followers. And then in the last 2.5 years, I'm at like 6,500 followers. But I also don't try. Like, I try not. Like, at all. Like, at all. It's like I'm lucky if I post once a week. But, people follow me because I'm endearing, I guess. I don't know. They pity me. But also stories help too, I think. For sure.
Yeah, I think they just help you get a deeper level of like getting to know behind the scenes kind of stuff, like of you as a person versus just the like pretty version of your business, which is like the posts and the grid.
Okay, here's a question. It's not, I don't know if it's really a question, but I don't know for sure. Privacy changes on IG and or boundaries with social media. That's all it says. So I don't know what you're going to take from that.
I don't know what are the most recent privacy changes on Instagram?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know either. I'm not sure. What and or boundaries with social media. I mean, I think you can assume that if you're on social media or any of these apps, like they know a lot about you. Like, you're using their app for free so that they can market to you with ads. And like, if that's what they're talking about, privacy changes, I mean, that's kind of what you give up as being a user of the applications.
Yeah. They know everything.
Yeah, I'm not sure what else to say about that. I don't know what recent privacy changes. Also, this question could have been asked like a month and a half ago or a month ago when some new privacy changes came out or were announced, and I am not sure.
Do you think social media is the only or best way to grow an audience, community, customer base for pottery?
Yeah, and then, I think I put these notes in here, or yeah, I put some of these. So,
oh my gosh,
what was that?
I was gonna say email's not dead, guys. Email is not dead.
So I put in here, pottery is a visual and tactile medium. So I think Instagram, social media. So it says social media. I'm assuming Instagram, Facebook, but I think pottery is obviously a very visual thing, and you can get a lot of people drawing their attention from something that they can see, that they could buy, that they could potentially like use in the future. And also the process is just so visually interesting that if you're not like familiar with pottery, I think it's a great medium to demonstrate and to show all the work that goes into it from beginning to end, that Instagram or social media just gives you a great platform to do that.
Yeah.
Pinterest is also, I put Pinterest on there too because apparently I have a lot of pins that I've put up there on my profile for a long time, and I honestly haven't posted in there in probably like 4 months, but I still get a lot of views on there because of some of the videos just keep getting watched and watched and watched. You know, they have some life of their own, and they have a good staying power of hanging around for a long time, for like months, even though I haven't posted anything in a while. So Pinterest is a good option if you have some good like demonstration videos or just satisfying videos of you doing part of your process. But yeah, I don't think it's the only way to grow an audience.
I'd like to jump in here. I definitely don't think it's the only way to grow an audience. I think that before I even had a Facebook, I had customers because I went to church and I like communicated with, or like, you know, I became friends with people at church. Word of mouth is one of your best tools ever. You know, giving and also product placement. Like if you know somebody that has parties at their house all the time, give them a huge bowl, and then they're always going to ask about that bowl, and you'll get people from that. Like there's so much that you can do from word of mouth and from physical interactions. Like one time when I was going to church back in the day, I don't really go to church much anymore, but I was at like a youth group thing, and Mother's Day was the next weekend, and I sold like $200 out the back of my car to all of these like 20 to 30-year-olds, because I was like, hey guys, I have pots in the back
Mother's
of my car
Day
if you guys
gifts
want to get something
right
for
here.
your mom. Like there's so many ways that you can grow a community, and their parents all got pots, and then those parents became my customers.
Yeah.
And like doing local fundraisers, that's also another way to grow your customer base. Like every year for the church, I would do I mean, this obviously doesn't have to be with just a church, but like, you know, they wanted to do mission trips, so I would make small bowls, and they had an ice cream social, or they had a chili cook-off, and all of those bowls that were used for that chili cook-off were my bowls. And then parents would get 6 of them, and then, or whatever, you know, they'd have all their kids, and they'd all get like these $15 bowls, fill them up with chili, and then one of them breaks. And they're like, Becca,
that's my
one of
favorite bowl.
That's my favorite bowl. Like, will you make me another one? And I cannot tell you how many people from different community-based events like that I have as customers, and lifelong customers as well. So no, I don't think that social media is the only best way to grow an audience. And I also do think that email lists are an extremely good tool that we don't utilize enough. I know I don't utilize it, but I don't.
I haven't sent out an email since November.
I'm, like, dooming my business.
Yeah. The other thing I was kind of questioning about the social media route, does it give us kind of a false sense of like, it's hard to get a true sense of feedback because everything, like a lot of it's public, right? So people are pretty encouraging on posts and stuff. And just because a post blows up doesn't mean that you should all of a sudden like go out and make only that stuff. It could have just been an anomaly, or there could have been something like small that grabbed their attention and it just got spread like crazy. And also, like, just because you have a big like following on Instagram doesn't mean that you can like sell all your stuff, or that, you know, your stuff would your business is going amazing or whatever, or you have a huge customer base that's coming back.
Or just because you have a huge audience on Instagram doesn't mean that you are equipped. You know, there's tons of people that are on Instagram that make plenty of money in pottery that have 600 followers, and then there's people that have 100,000 followers that don't make as much as those people that have 600 followers. Like, that doesn't, numbers don't really mean anything as far as your income is concerned.
Yeah.
It certainly can help, but it doesn't really mean it.
I just think you can't beat the in-person, like, one-on-one with, like, the talking with people as well as them being able to actually handle your stuff in the moment. You can't get, like, you're doing it through a screen, as well as you have their immediate attention in the moment. They're walking a show. They only have so much attention that they're giving it a show. Imagine being on Instagram. You're scrolling. Like, you're seeing so much information all at once. How invested are you in this thing? While the TV's on in the background, your dog is over here doing something. Your kid's screaming or something over there. Like, you're not super invested in what's on this screen right here. If you're at a show, like, you're way more.
I keep thinking about how, like, so I'm doing this new style, right? This new, like, very tactile, like, very smooth pots with, like, super clean designs and stuff. And I keep thinking about how I'm totally fucking myself over because, like, I'm creating a product that literally gets taken to the next level when you hold it.
Yeah.
Like,
you're not going to understand what you get until you hold it.
Right. So I either have to make it look so fucking good on pictures, or I have to have, like, people physically touching them in order to feel the response and, like, the reflection. Like, Rebecca was like, you're going to have to get a video of somebody, like, just handing them this mug and their, like, instant gut reaction so that people can understand what it feels like to actually hold it. And I was like,
and it's hard to explain what smooth means. Like, what is super smooth? Is it like you're touching, like, a bowling ball or something? Like, or like a glass? Like, how smooth?
Right. See, Ryan doesn't even know because he hasn't felt it.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's like, I mean, like, it's, well, the best thing I can explain is that Isaac's shoes foot on his mugs, I'm trying to replicate that.
Yeah.
And so it's, like, so smooth. And like, the last one that I did was actually shiny.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. But yeah,
plus, you got to have the customer base in person if that's how you want to, if that's the best way to sell it. And, like, that's, you got to make that decision of, like, you can't have people test out mugs and then send it back if they don't like it.
Right. I'm not satisfied.
And then it's like, are you in the right market to sell pieces at that price with those qualities, so.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have the list in front of you?
Yeah. So the next one says thoughts on sponsored or ad content for Facebook and Instagram. I've only done a couple ads on both.
Yeah, but your stuff is sponsored.
I think that means
you're sponsored by Speedball.
No, I think that means, like, is it worth running sponsored ads on Facebook or Instagram? I think that's what Trevor meant by that. And that's cool. That's Trevor Clayworks. I think I just started following him, actually. He's in Indiana.
Oh my God, he is. He's up in Goshen, and I'm jealous of his living room.
So I think this is talking about whether it's kind of worth it to do sponsored ads or anything like that. I've only done a couple, and they've been for very specific things. Like, I did one maybe a couple years ago for a restock I was doing, but you get a lot of passerbys, and they see it, and, are they, if they don't already know your stuff, are you a consumer that just rolls by something in Instagram that's sponsored, tap on it, and go buy something? Like, I'm not. So I don't know in that case it's worth it, but if it's something that's, like, pretty eye-catching and grabbing that you think is really a good representation of your work and, like, what people can see from your work, maybe it's a good just, like, putting little breadcrumbs out there and trying it out and seeing if you get a lot of, like, responses. I feel like it's just a way to, like, bump you up in the algorithm for people to like see more of your stuff, but you're paying for it. So, you know, you got to figure out what the end goal is and like what the intention is for those kind of posts. And I mean, I've done it. The only other way I've done it on Facebook is for events. Like if I've hosted events like the Backyard Craft Show or my local home show here, I did sponsored ads for, you know, a couple weeks maybe. I think it's worth it for that. Have you done either?
You know what? I have done sponsored ads a few times and I don't feel like it's worth it, and like I have friends that have done it too, and they had the general consensus from them. They were in like a food delivery system scenario. The general consensus was a natural organic growth was a lot more impactful than one that was paid.
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was worth it for, I mean, my like art show here or whatever at the house. I put maybe $50 at it for a week or 2 weeks or whatever. So
yeah,
like it's $50. If I get a couple sales out of it, it's probably gonna be paid for.
you know what I would do if I had a show like yours?
What?
So if I had like a backyard show, which I'm gonna be at your backyard show anyway, but like if I had a backyard show, what I would do is the same principle as what I used to do with the flash sales. Instead of paying for ads, what I would do is, if you share this post and you come to the show, show me and you get a free pinch pot. Like,
show me that you shared it.
Show me that you shared it.
Or just tell me you shared it or something.
Or or whatever, you know, like honor system's fine too. But like, yeah, tell me that you shared it. And then you get something for free at my booth. And that not only brings them to your booth, because people cannot pass up on that, but it also is, you're spending so much less money making those little pinch pots than you would $10, $20, $30 on an Instagram post or, you know.
We're doing it.
A thing, but then you're like specifically having organic growth that other people will see. And then, you know, I think that's how I would approach that. That's a great idea. I would try to think of different ways.
We're definitely going to do that this time. We're going to do that.
Yeah, we should. We should.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
I think that I would. Yeah, I think that like Facebook just really, because of their algorithm system and especially like Facebook and Instagram, it's hard to get it that way. But like, you know, I just saw somebody. Oh God, I can't remember who it was. She's a sweet, sweet lady that I follow on Instagram, and she was saying that she was like super grateful for everybody sharing all the things that she's posting, and every month she's going to do a random drawing, and to be entered into this random drawing, you have to share her post, like something on her page, on your stories or your page. And she'll like put your name down for a drawing. I'm like, that's freaking brilliant.
That sounds like my Pitch Pine. Pitch Pine Pottery does that. When people buy her products, they use that hashtag, and then she collects all the shares from that month, and she picks her favorite share, and she gives them something.
Not like everybody's benefiting from that. Like nobody's not benefiting. You know, you're supporting locally, like you're supporting a local business or whatever. They're getting their word out, and somebody's getting a free piece at the end of the month. Like, it's freaking brilliant.
Yeah.
I think there just can be so many more ways that we can do it without paying for it, you know?
Yeah, you just gotta get creative with it.
Yeah.
And some people have the knack for that. Others don't. Like they hit a wall and they're like, true. I don't really know. What do you think, you know? You have any ideas?
I don't know how to do this. I'm all about giving away something for free.
I think that's great. Yeah, I'm not above giving away stuff for free. Like I've sent stuff out that's like mugs. Like I've sent out a few pieces that are totally quality pieces, and I have no shame in sending something out for free. I'm not so proud of my value of my work that I can't do that.
I will. Yeah, I feel like we should caveat this with you should be established before you start giving free shit away, because once you start making that standard for your work, then everybody around you in your community and your friends will expect things for free. So we don't need that.
Also meant like
Discounts
it's on your deciding to give it away too. Like,
yeah, discounts don't make friends. Anyway,
all right, this one's kind of general, but it says how to build a following on Instagram and Pinterest. What are the best strategies for each?
I feel like you've talked about.
Yeah, we've talked about the Instagram part. The Pinterest part, I would say the way I built my Pinterest was iPhone. If you have an iPhone, I think yours probably does. You can probably check, but iPhone creates a folder for every Instagram post that I've ever posted. There's one folder that says Instagram. I just take all those photos and I I put them on my Pinterest. And I used to do it. I obviously got behind the game. Like, I haven't had a Pinterest, but for maybe a couple of years. But I kind of got on like a pinning spree. Like on a Friday afternoon after work, I would pin for like 45 minutes. And I would just go in, pick photos, pin them, describe what I was seeing in the photo, whether it was like blue and green mug. And then I would end every single one with hyphen RD Ceramics so that it was like kind of branded so they knew who the post came from. And then I linked every single Pinterest pin with a link to my website.
Etsy. But yes.
No, I linked it to my website.
Your website?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you link it to your Etsy?
I didn't do it to Etsy because I feel like that's too salesy to link every single thing to my Etsy shop. I feel like that's too obvious that, like, hey, I'm trying to sell shit, because not everything that I post on Instagram is for sale on Etsy, and I don't always have everything on Etsy. So I drive them there, and then the thing is, when they get to my website, the first thing they see is like my Instagram feed is what I have on my homepage.
Oh, okay.
So it gives them kind of a good mix of like what I'm doing now, and then they can go from there and see if they want to go like shop. Like there's a link to the shop, or there's events and about me and stuff like that. So that's what I do on Pinterest, and there's a lot of videos on there. For videos, you can put, I think they call them tags. You can put a bunch of tags on there, so it's like if people are searching for pottery, like you can tag them with pottery or bowls or plates or whatever. But I would say just go on a pinning spree, set aside like maybe one day every couple weeks or something, and just try it out. Pin. I was able to pin like 30 things at a time in like 45 minutes. You just kind of get in the groove of doing it.
That's nice.
And it doesn't hurt you at all. It's not like Instagram. It's not like on Instagram where you're posting 30 times all at once, because it's just a feed of pins, and then I categorize them a certain way. And the way Pinterest does it, stuff lasts for like 5 or 6 months. Like, it's got a lot of staying power, so it hangs around, and it doesn't hurt you to do a bunch of stuff all at once. And you won't really see the results for a couple months. Like, give it a month or two to look back at the pins that you did first and kind of see which ones are doing well, which ones aren't. And that'll determine what you should post in the future.
I know people that have just, well, you including, have just killed it from Pinterest. I am not a Pinterest person, so I will never have one.
Yeah, I never even open Pinterest anymore, but somehow I think I still have like 600,000 views a month, and that's just from watching videos.
Shit.
My videos, like, I don't know.
600,000 a month?
Yeah, I think so. I haven't checked it in a couple weeks, and I haven't posted in like
That's
3 or 4
crazy.
months. I mean, I don't know how many like
That's
sales
insane.
and stuff I'm getting from there, but I mean, just analytics wise, like 596,000 monthly views.
Wow. You know what my thing is? Yeah, just like make your photos like bougie as fuck. Like, just make them super Pinteresty, and then put them on Pinterest and link them to your IG account. That's how you gain followers, apparently.
Ooh, that's a good idea. Link them to your IG account.
Are you serious that you never even thought about linking it to your Instagram account?
No, I just link it to my website.
That is the first thing I would link it to, is your Instagram account.
That's a good idea, because Instagram's my source. Well, I think the reason I did that was because I didn't want to rely on Instagram for everything. I didn't want to just push them from a different social media to another social media, but I don't know. I could be swayed there.
Yeah, why not?
But
they want to be pushed onto your Instagram, so it's fine.
Yeah, I don't know. This freaking okay. So the best video was it or carving clay ornaments. Let's see. When did I post this? Posted this. Shit. I don't know. It's got 900,000 views on it. And in the last month, it looks like it got like 100 or almost 200,000 impressions.
That's insane. That puts TikTok to shame almost.
But I also shared this. Let's see, when did I share it? I don't even know how to look at that. I don't even see where that's at. I don't know. See, that's how like dumb I am on this platform. I don't even know how to.
That's okay. We can move on to the next question. Okay. Can I get your input on a social media business question? I need to start selling the pots I've been making. My eventual plan is to set up an inventory and a website through Square. But in the meantime, I'm thinking about making IG stories with pics and prices and grouping items into categories using highlights. I'm wondering, why does nobody else seem to use IG this way? Dude, I never thought about using highlights as like something that anyway, did you know if there are rules about posting? I'm not aware of. No, there's not any rules. And that's really smart, honestly, to like put it into highlights to be like, hey, this is what the inventory I have right now is. That's so smart.
Yeah. Rachel has done that with her like semi-recent stuff that she's selling, like secondhand, like vintage stuff and all that. So she'll do the stories. The thing about posting to the stories, it's kind of like for the one thing, I don't feel like highlights get a lot of traction. I mean, I don't even use highlights that much, but I feel like they don't get a lot of views. But it depends on who you are and how you use them. I'm not saying they can't, but I don't think people are going to your profile and looking at highlights a lot. I know, but if they're there and nobody's going to them, what benefit is it? You've got to.
Yeah, but you would see it and you'd say like, "Oh, it's for sale."
Yeah, I mean that's a quick and easy way that you could do it. Yeah, you could have it there, and anybody can DM you from a highlight. The number of times that I've actually been messaged from somebody watching a highlight back is probably like 1% of the time. I never get anyone to watch a highlight and message me after the fact.
Yeah.
It never happens. But I'm not saying that can't work to put inventory in there. It depends on how you do it. It needs to be enticing. It needs to be like obvious. You know, are people going to your profile a lot and looking at your grid? And, if there's a way that you can drive them back to your profile in a creative way that gets them to see what's available, that's a good option. The Instagram stories, the limiting factor there, I do use it for like previews, but that's because it's 24 hours before the restock. So I kind of want them to get in the mood of what's going to be there. I've also been advertising for it the week prior and whatnot. So I've already built kind of that hype a little bit, and some of the posts have built the hype. And the previews kind of like that last ditch effort to kind of like get people to buy in and like see what's there so that they can kind of pull the trigger the next day.
Here's an idea too. Wait, did you have more?
I was just gonna say, like, you're limited to, they need to kind of buy it within that 24-hour period, unless you put it in your highlight after. But it goes back to the first point: if they're not going to see it in 24 hours and make that purchase, how are you going to get them to the highlight?
Yeah.
So
a while ago, when I was kind of venturing through online outlets, first of all, I use Square for a website right now, but I think I actually might be switching to Shopify. So look into Shopify to see. Oh, Lord. to see if that works for you, like if Square works better than Shopify or whatever in price comparison. But in the meantime, there is a website or platform called ECWID, Equid. Keep in mind their customer service is terrible, but they have a free plan situation, and you can sell straight through your Instagram from this platform. So
what does that
look into it.
user experience look like if they're buying it?
They buy it straight on Instagram.
What does that mean, though? Does that mean it's linked with it like a Shopify is linked with your Instagram account, and it's like it makes the items buyable on that post or whatever, just like
on the
Shopify?
platform. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's just like that. But look into it. I don't know if it'll work for you or not, but it might be like a good in between while you're trying to get your website figured out. Because they do have a free plan. I don't know what that entails, but just keep in mind that if you are going to do it, don't pay annually. You'll get no money back. So
it's more like try it out, see how it works, and then decide if it's worth it.
Like, what's really great about what's really great about like Squarespace is that they're so nice about like paying you back if you change your mind, you know?
Yeah.
They're like
they actually have a money back guaranteed kind of thing.
Yeah, like, oh, you're switching from this account to this account, let's just give you your money back. And I'm like, yes. And this company is not like that at all. So
I think either way, you need to try it out. Like, just because of what I'm saying and I wouldn't do it and I don't find success doing it doesn't mean you can't. And you can't give it a go, see if it works. I mean, I've tried to do, second sales and stories before, or just willy-nilly, hey, this is available. But I feel like the stories for me are too, kind of intimate, sort of, when I'm doing stories. So I don't want to feel too salesy if I can avoid it. So, just seeing a bunch of, Pac-Man dots at the top of all the stuff that I have available feels too salesy all at once, and then they're just going to skip over it. So do it, tactfully and see if it works. And if it doesn't work, try something different. Or, try it again. I might try it again. I haven't done it in probably a year and a half or so. Maybe I'll do it again in the future. I don't know. But yeah, give it a go and see what happens.
Good luck. Good luck, Russell.
Yeah.
I think this is the last question.
Yeah.
What are the things you focus on most that help you grow your media accounts? What have you found? Oh, no.
Oh, Becca's yawning. Becca's yawning. Take a drink. Becca yawned. I'll take a drink. You didn't hear it, though, because I muted. See how that works, Becca?
I just can't avoid yawning. I'm not tired. Maybe I just don't have enough oxygen.
I think it's because I'm boring you.
You're not boring me. I yawn all day.
Jeez.
Maybe it's the lower altitude.
How big of a difference is the altitude? It's not like you're making shit up. You're pulling strings there. I don't know what you're digging from.
I'm pulling shit up. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, so
I'm
what are
trying to make an excuse for my yawning.
What are the things you focus on most that help you grow your media accounts? And what have you found that translates most social media activity to sales? I mean, the growth, we've talked about this a few times, but I would just say consistency, posting regularly, mixing up your content, improving your quality
showing
of
your face.
Photos, showing your face is good. Whenever I go to a post, if I don't know what this person not a post, but if I go to an account and I'm not following them, usually I'll scroll through. I want to see a face. I want to see who this person is. Mm-hmm. I assume I'm not the only one that does that. And
I do that.
I think that definitely helps. I don't know, maybe people that don't actually see my stories don't know what I look like until I post a post that has a
You
my,
have a few
my
posts with your face,
face,
in them, though.
but yeah, I have a few out there, but I haven't done it in a while. But yeah, I think that definitely helps. Is there any just what kind of things you would focus on for like Facebook to help grow that? How would you grow that unique differently?
Well, I mean, I think that, like we had discussed earlier, always when you're doing a sale or anything like that, incentivize sharing, you know? And whether that be you get a little magnet or you get something like a little bit of tea or something like something. It has to be something
Yeah.
that they can get. Like I think Alon Pottery, she just gives away those little magnets, right?
Yeah.
With every order.
They make them they make them all year round.
Yeah, and they're like collectibles now. So like I think that anything like that is really good to move on Facebook, and just to be really social in events or something like that, like posting in groups if you can, and just be as humanly possible, like don't always go to a group to sell something. But like I'm part of so many mom groups, and we've already discussed my lack of liking children today. So like I know so much about kids that I never wanted to know in my entire life. Like, get to know your demographic.
Yeah.
Andrew, my best friend, he made a group, like a Facebook group, and he does special deals through that Facebook group. I tried to do that, but it was towards the end of my selling of the studio, and it didn't work out. But yeah, like, I think that just being as like reaching out and like getting to quote unquote know people as much as possible.
It's called social media for a reason, right?
Yeah, be social.
Yeah, I limit my time on Facebook. I just don't have as much interest on that platform, so I don't feel like I dig my toes in as much as I could. But it just depends on how you want to spend your time, and I would be one of those dip into a group and post something if it was relevant, like the Backyard Craft Show. Like if I was advertising that, I would find groups that are related to that area, drop them in there, say, hey, if you're interested in doing this, like this is what's going to be there, and leave it. But like I'm not super in the know about all these things. Like you said, the mom groups, like I would have to consume a lot of that content over time to feel comfortable to post something without feeling like I was just like selling something,
Right. I also think it's really like I'm in a lot of mom groups because that's my demographic, and I think that's knowing your demographic is really important, and that's a social media can help you in that way so much. Like so much.
Actually, a simple thing that you've been doing, that you used to do a lot, was just going into like Clay Buddies and going live. That's a way to be social and do something that you're already doing, and just show that you're willing to interact. And I'm sure you did that in Clay Buddies, but I'm sure you've done it before on your 5 Lines Pottery account, so people could like see what you're doing.
Right. Same with TikTok.
Yeah. So like, that's a way to just get people into your studio like in the moment, and kind of see what life is like for somebody working in pottery, and they wouldn't have any access to that otherwise.
I think that what's funny is that like I don't really go to church all that much anymore, but if there's anything that church taught me is that fellowship is the most useful tool that you could have. And like getting to know people and having them get to know you, and like it's kind of like on the same lines as like How to Win Friends and Influence People, like Dale Carnegie kind of situation, which I know you haven't read, but that's fine.
I have read it.
You have read it? Oh, okay, that's the one you have.
I read it a long time ago, and Rachel would joke with me. She'd be like, "Oh, you're trying to get friends, huh?"
Yeah. It's like the good form of manipulation in a way. But I feel like that's the one thing that kind of like church and like being in that environment taught me, was just to be like as nice to people as you possibly can, but also to use that to your advantage, you know, and not in like a really shitty way. That's not what I'm talking about, but like, you know, be in fellowship with people, like become friends with people, and if that means going on lives on Clay Buddies, and like I have such a great group of friends on Clay Buddies because I did do lives, and I have even on TikTok, I was doing lives on TikTok, and there's like 10 people that would always be on my lives, and we would chat about the most random things, you know, and it became like my friends, like my virtual friends. And same with Instagram. I've got people that always contact me through my stories. Like, build up these relationships, because those relationships will gain you way more than you even think they ever will.
Plus, they get you some like clout too. Like, people get a sense of who you are, and like when you answer a question on Clay Buddies, they already have that context of where you're coming from, and they know a little bit about you and like how you work and why you're answering a certain way. They have way more context than just some random person that's answering that they don't know who they are. As well as, you know, if we're answering stuff on Instagram, like they might shout us out because they know us through the podcast, or they know that we've talked about a certain topic and we had a certain perspective on it. So like, I'm sure if we go to some event at Inseca or whatever, like there are people that are going to have this a little bit more understanding of who we are, that they get way more out of it than just seeing somebody that they follow on Instagram and all they know is their posts, and they don't post any stories, and they only put that very manicured piece of them out there, and like that's all they know. I think that's the best way to grow your following. Like, share more of who you are so people get to know who you are.
Yeah.
Is that the last part was, what have you found that most translates social media activity to sales? Is that kind of the same thing? Just, I would say don't be salesy. Share who you are, and if people like you and they feel that you're genuine and they want to support you, then that's the easiest way to sell stuff.
Yeah, I mean, really, I mean, okay. I have a good product, and it is a quality product, and I'm confident in that. But I do feel like a lot of the reason that I've sold things in the past, especially online, is because people like me, not my products as much as they like me. You know?
Yeah.
I think we underestimate the fact that people like humans.
Especially when it's handmade too. Like, they know that they're getting a piece of you. How many handmade
mugs are there out in the world?
Millions.
There's
billions.
So many handmade mugs.
Probably billions.
The thing that makes your pottery different is you. It's not your mug. It's you. So I think that was so insightful.
That was. It sounded like there is a highlight that I saved on my Instagram that is about me and Katie Webster talking on an Instagram live like 2 years ago, and it's exactly what we just said. People are buying a piece of you.
Yeah, I remember listening to that live while I was driving, and I was listening to it, and I was driving to O'Connor, Washington. I remember going around the corner and listening to her talking about reclaiming students like low fire clay.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
I didn't watch any of it because I was driving, but I was just listening.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the last of the questions. We're done with social media questions until we ask for more in the future. And then we'll curate a whole nother list. You're like, no more social media questions. We have plenty of other questions to answer, so.
We do.
We've got plenty of your all's listener questions. And then we'll be sharing about what you all are talking in the surveys and stuff, because we asked you all to give us random shit to ask and feedback, so.
I also think this is, I'm going to add this on the very end of it. I feel like, especially in the TikTok world, maybe not as much in the Instagram world, but on the TikTok world, because it's mostly video based. I feel like a lot of people are trying too hard. You know, they're like trying so much that they're faking a little bit about themselves. This kind of like stems back to being yourself and being authentic. But, you know, just be confident in being yourself. You know?
What's an example of them trying too hard? Is it while they're like,
especially on TikTok, I feel like there's a lot of references to like, oh, you know what, you should really like this video because you should share this video because, like, you know, like they're trying to get a viral video, so
because it helps me go crazy? Is that like, do it because it helps me? Is that where they're coming across?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I need more followers because of this. And I just feel like a lot of the times you can like feel that it's them like really trying really hard, you know? And a lot of the times those videos that go viral is because somebody accidentally caught something on tape, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And like it's their real life, you know? Like it's authentic.
Yeah, it's not staged,
not
and
all
it's
the times.
Yeah. Some of it's staged, but
like some of it's staged, obviously, but a lot of the times it's not staged. And like people want to know who you are authentically. They don't care about, especially if you're selling a product, they don't necessarily care that you're repeating trends or doing stuff like that. They want to know who you are, and they want to know like how long you've been doing pottery and how they can support you and like things like that. So that's my.
Is this I don't know if this is I don't know if this is just me, but is there a lot of worry of, you know, being vulnerable and like showing your face and talking on camera and like feeling like you have to be like picture perfect or like Instagram ready or whatever to share things? Or
I'm sure there is.
Like sharing the moment, one take, do the best you can, know that there's going to be fuck ups, but you're going to be better over time, and just like grinding through that. I don't know if that's I'm sure I don't want to say that. I'll say this. I don't know if that's a male-female mind thing where some females are generally more like self-conscious versus like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. I've been doing it for like 4 years, so I'm like, I'm over the whole being on camera thing, and I can do it if somebody's around me and I'm doing it because I know that I'm doing it for a reason and it's helping whatever.
Right. I remember when I started doing lives and like no one could be in the space that I was in. I was like so self-conscious about talking to this camera, and now like the other day I did a live on TikTok and I literally went up to my coworker and I was like, just so you know, I'm gonna do a live, I'm gonna talk to myself, I just want you to know that that's why I'm doing it. Like, and it doesn't even faze me anymore.
Yeah.
And so, but I do think that there is like a little bit of like presentability that you feel like you have to be like present online.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yep. And then I'm like, I don't care. I'm wearing a hat today. I didn't fucking shower today. I'm wearing this shirt. Did I wear the same shirt that I wore yesterday? Maybe. I don't know. I probably didn't wear the same shirt because I knew you saw me on video and stories the day before. Like, I'm changing my shirt, but I'm going to recycle this thing back in later in the week. Like, I'm going to wear that shirt again. I mean, the only thing that I am self-conscious of is sometimes I'll say we a lot. But it's like, it's just me. Like, we're back in, like, it's just fucking
it's like,
me.
What do you mean, like, by we, like, we all the way home?
I'll say we, like, hey, we just unloaded the kiln, blah, blah, blah. Because I'm trying to say, like we, as in, like, me and the viewers. Like, they're with me, like, they're helping. But I also don't want to say, like, just me or I, because it was like, look at me. That's the only thing I worry about sometimes. And she's yawning again. You heard it.
But you couldn't hear that one. Nobody would have known.
Maybe.
No one would have known.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, that's the only thing that I'm like, at this point, I don't care. So.
Yeah, who knows? To the one person that said that our podcast should be longer, it's 11:30 at night.
I don't know what they expect. Do they expect Joe Rogan? Do they expect 3 hours?
I think so.
I don't think we can just riff for 3 hours when we come up with a topic like 10 minutes before.
Yeah, it would be fun to do a few lives like we used to do. You know? Like on a Saturday, since we both have Saturdays off.
Yeah. I'm usually in the studio on Saturdays.
Yeah, we could do it while we're in the studio.
Does Instagram cut you off after an hour anymore? I don't know that they do.
They do, but we could just do it. We could just call each other.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I guess we could do a live too.
Yeah. All right.
Yep. That's it.
That's it.
That's all she wrote.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for listening. And we'll catch you next time.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
Hey, guys. Thank you so much for listening to our podcast. We really appreciate it, and we're having so much fun. If you want to follow us individually on Instagram, you totally can. Ryan's Instagram handle is @RDCeramics, and mine is 5 Lines Pottery. That's the number 5. We would love to hear from you, and don't forget to write us a review on our podcast. We read every single one of them, and we totally appreciate them. They help us out an awful lot, and they also put smiles on our faces. I hope you guys continue to listen, and we love you. Thanks. Bye.